it's Anissa, and today I'm going to be doing a Harry Potter book reading, and the book I will be reading is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which is one of my favorite books. So good. So I decided I'm going to read that. Now, I'm just going to talk a little bit before I start. So, one little fun fact about me and stuff is that I always have a paper clip on my books. Now, you might be asking, why do I have a paper clip on your books? Usually when you put paper clips on your books, it's because they're bent and stuff. Actually, my book is in pretty good condition. And you might be wondering why it looks so weird and stuff. The cover looks so weird. It's because my grandma put tape on it, because I carry them around so much, the book kind of gets worn. So, I didn't really want that to happen, and so, my grandma put tape over it, and believe me, it has come in handy so many times. I had one time where, water was on my book, but, water kind of spilled on my book, but, I had the tape on it so the cover didn't get ruined. See, if it gets on the Harry Potter part, it kind of gets all, crinkled a little bit, and I don't like that. So, yeah. Oh, back to the paper clip thing. Usually I have a paper clip on it, I have no idea why. I usually go to, when I go to school, I always bring a book with me and stuff, and the book always has a paper clip on it for as long as I can remember. And, I just like having paper clips on my books for some reason, I don't know. And another thing about me is that, you know how there's usually, when you save a place in your book and stuff? There's usually, just only one bookmark. Well, I have at least 3 in here. One of them, the green part right there, is where I currently am, and I'm on the Silver Doe, I believe. And this one right here, sometimes I skip a couple of chapters. I know what you're gonna say. I just go, oh, why are you skipping chapters? You're supposed to read the whole book. Well, guess what? I've read this book so many times that I can practically recite it word for word. I'm kind of exaggerating, but I've read this book so many times. I know it inside and out. So yeah, I can do that. I've read it so many times because it's all worn, so worn that it's flat. See? It's all flat. I've read it so many times. Yeah, so yeah, I could say certain places, my favorite places and stuff like that. And I also have these glasses. They're actually Harry Potter glasses. And I actually went to Universal Studios and I had another pair of glasses, but sadly I was so upset when that happened. But when I was riding the ride, I think it was called Flight of the Hippogriff, it's that roller coaster and stuff, my glasses, they're kind of loose on my face and they fell off the ride. Once we were doing a swerve and stuff, I got so upset, and so my mom ordered me some new ones. You can get these on Wish. Wish is really cheap to get stuff on, so yeah, they're actually pretty good glasses. They're kind of better than my other ones. So yeah, I'm gonna be wearing this. And then, if I could just open the box. Hang on a sec. Open the box really quick. Okay, I also have this Harry Potter wand I got from Universal Studios. See if you can see it. Let me see if I lean back. And then also came with this map and stuff. Hogsmeade. The one, if you guys are wondering, at Universal Studios, they cost $50 for the active ones, and those only work at Universal Studios. It was cray-cray. It was cray-cray. But I've been wanting a wand for as long as I read the Harry Potter books, and my mom, she saved up money so I can get one. This one is Harry Potter's one. I kind of originally wanted to get Hermione's one, but, it didn't really look that nice. I didn't really like it. But then I saw Harry Potter's one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love his one. So, yeah, I'm not going to be holding it for when I read, though, because, it'll be very, very, very distracting. So yeah, I'm just going to put it safely in its little box, and I'll, kind of show it and stuff. Maybe when it spells or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll do, another video just based entirely on, my wand and stuff and my merchandise. I don't know. Okay, so, enough talking yappity yap. Let's get started. Now, like any normal person would do, I'm going to start with the first chapter. Excuse the paper and stuff. I usually stick stuff in my book. Safe place. I carry it around with me all the time. Okay, let's see. Let me just raise up the volume. My little sister, forgive me, but my little sister is watching a movie. It is very loud.
Excuse me, my sister is making something.
I'm doing a video, so.
Whatever.
Okay, so, enough of that. Let's talk. Let's start reading. The Dark Lord Ascending, Chapter 1. The two men appeared out of nowhere, a few yards apart in the narrow moonlit lane. For a second they stood quite still, once directed at each other's chests. Then, recognizing each other, they stowed the wands beneath their cloaks and started walking briskly in the same direction. "News?" asked the taller of the two. "The best," replied Severus Snape. The lane was bordered on the left by wild, low-growing brambles, on the right by a high, neatly manicured hedge. The men's long cloaks flapped around their ankles as they marched. "Thought I might be late," said Yakesley, his blonde features sliding in and out of sight as the branches of overhanging trees broke the moonlight. "It was a little trickier than I expected, but I hope you will be satisfied. You sound confident that your reception will be good?" Snape nodded, but did not elaborate. They turned right into a wide driveway that led off the lane. The high hedge curved at them, running off into the distance beyond the pair of impressive wrought iron gates barring the men's way. Neither of them broke step. In silence, both raised their left arms in a kind of salute and passed straight through, as though the dark metal was smoke. The yew hedges muffled the sound of the men's footsteps. There was a rustle somewhere to their right. Yakesley drew his wand again, pointing it over his companion's head, but the source of the noise proved to be nothing more than a pure white peacock, straining majestically across the top of the hedge. He always did himself well, Lucius. Peacocks. Yakesley thrust his wand back under his cloak with a snort. A handsome manor house grew out of the darkness at the end of the straight drive, lights glinting in the diamond-paned downstairs windows. Somewhere in the dark garden beyond the hedge a fountain was playing. Gravel crackled beneath their feet as Snape and Yakesley sped toward the front door, which swung inward at their approach, though nobody had visibly opened it. The hallway was large, dimly lit, and sumptuously decorated, with the magnificent carpet covering most of the stone floor. The eyes of the pale-faced portraits on the walls followed Snape and Yakesley as they strode past. The two men halted at a heavy wooden door, leading into the next room, hesitated for the space of a heartbeat, then Snape turned the bronze handle. The drawing room was full of silent people, sitting at a long and ornate table. The room's usual furniture had been pushed carelessly up against the walls. Illumination came from a roaring fire beneath a handsome marble mantelpiece, surmounted by a gilded mirror. Snape and Yakesley lingered for a moment on the threshold. I think that's how you pronounce it. As their eyes grew accustomed to the lack of light, they were drawn upward to the strangest feature of the scene, an apparently unconscious human figure hanging upside down over the table, revolving slowly as if suspended by an invisible rope, and reflected in the mirror and in the bare, polished surface of the table below. None of the people seated underneath this singular sight was looking at it except for a pale young man sitting almost directly below it. He seemed unable to prevent himself from glancing upward every minute or so. "Yakesley, Snape," said a high, clear voice from the end of the table, "you are very nearly late." The speaker was seated directly in front of the fireplace, so that it was difficult, at first, for the new arrivals to make out more than his silhouette. As they drew nearer, however, his face shone through the gloom, hairless, snake-like, with slits for nostrils and gleaming red eyes whose pupils were vertical. He was so pale that he seemed to emit a pearly glow. "Severus, here," said Voldemort, indicating the seat on his immediate right. "Yakesley," said Dolohov. The two men took their allotted places. Most of the eyes around the table followed Snape, and it was to him that Voldemort spoke first. "So, my lord, the Order of the Phoenix intends to move Harry Potter from his current place of safety on Saturday next at nightfall." The interest around the table sharpened palpably. Some stiffened, others fidgeted, all gazing at Snape and Voldemort. "Saturday. At nightfall," repeated Voldemort. His red eyes fastened upon Snape's black ones with such intensity that some of the watchers looked away, apparently fearful that they themselves would be scorched by the ferocity of the gaze. Snape, however, looked calmly back into Voldemort's face, and, after a moment or two, Voldemort's lipless mouth curved into something like a smile. "Good. Very good. and this information comes from the source to discuss," said Snape. "My lord?" Yaxley leaned forward to look down the long table of Voldemort and Snape. All faces turned to him. "My lord, I have heard differently." Yaxley waited, but Voldemort did not speak, so he went on. "Dawlish, the Auror, let slip that Potter will not be moved until the 13th, the night before the boy turned 17. Snape was smiling. "My source told me that there are plans to lay a false trail. This must be it. Note that a confundish charm has been placed upon Dawlish. It would not be the first time. He is known to be susceptible." "I assure you, my lord, Dawlish seemed quite certain," said Yaxley. "If he has been confounded, naturally he is certain," said Snape. "I assure you, Yaxley, the Auror office will play no further part in the protection of Harry Potter. The Order believes that we have infiltrated the Ministry." The Order's got one thing right then, eh?" said a squat man sitting a short distance from Yaxley. He gave a wheezy giggle that was echoed here and there along the table. Voldemort did not laugh. His gaze had wandered upward to the body revolving slowly overhead, and he seemed to be lost in thought. "My lord," Yaxley went on, "Dawlish believes an entire party of Aurors will be used to transfer the boy." Voldemort held up a large white hand, and Yaxley subsided at once, watching resentfully as Voldemort turned back to Snape. "Where are they going to hide the boy next?" "At the home of one of the Orders," said Snape. "The place, according to the source, has been given every protection that the Order and Ministry together could provide. I think that there is little chance of taking him once he is there, my lord. Unless, of course, the Ministry has fallen before next Saturday, which might give us the opportunity to discover and undo enough of the enchantments to break through the rest." "Well, Yaxley?" Voldemort called down the table, the firelight glinting strangely in his eyes. "Will the Ministry have fallen by next Saturday?" Once again, all heads turned. Yaxley squared his shoulders. "My lord, I have good news on that score. I have, with difficulty and after great effort, succeeded in placing an imperious curse upon pious Thicknesse." Many of those sitting around Yaxley looked impressed. His neighbor, Dolohov, a man with a long, twisted face, clapped him on the back. "It is a start," said Voldemort, "but Thicknesse is only one man. Scrimgeour must be surrounded by our people before I act. One failed attempt at the minister's life will send me back a long way." "Yes, my lord, that is true. But you know, as head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, Thicknesse has regular contact not only with the minister himself, but also with the heads of all the other departments. It will, I think, be easy now that we have such a high-ranking official under control to subjugate the others, and then they can all work together to bring Scrimgeour down. As long as our friend Thicknesse is not discovered before he has converted the rest," said Voldemort. "At any rate, it remains unlikely that the minister will be mine before next Saturday. If I cannot touch the boy at his destination, then it must be done while he travels." "We are at an advantage there, my lord," said Yaxley, who seemed determined to receive some portion of approval. "We now have several people planted within the Department of Magical Transportation. If Potter operates or uses the Flute network, we shall know immediately." "He will not do either," said Snape. "The Order is eschewing any form of transport that is controlled or regulated by the Ministry. They mistrust everything to do with the place." "All the better," said Voldemort. "He'll have to move in the open. Easy to take, by far." Again, Voldemort looked up at the slowly revolving body as he went on. "I shall attend to the boy in person. There have been too many mistakes where Harry Potter is concerned. Some of them have been my own. That Potter lives is due more to my errors than to his triumphs." The company around the table watched Voldemort apprehensively, each of them, by his or her expression, afraid that they might be blamed for Harry Potter's continued existence. Voldemort, however, seemed to be speaking more to himself than to any of them, still addressing the unconscious body above him. Sorry, let me drink something. It's a little dry. I haven't really done this before, little reading thing, so yeah. Okay. Okay. "I have been careless, and so have been thwarted by luck and chance, those wreckers of all but the best laid plans. But I know better now. I understand those things that I did not understand before. I must be the one to kill Harry Potter, and I shall be." At these words, Seemingly in response to them, a sudden wail sounded, a terrible, drawn-out cry of misery and pain. Many of those at the table looked downward, startled, for the sound had seemed to issue from below their feet. "Wormtail," said Voldemort with no change in his quiet, thoughtful tone, and without removing his eyes from the revolving body above. "Have I not spoken to you about keeping our prisoner quiet?" "Yes, my lord," gasped a small man halfway down the table, who had been sitting so low in his chair that it had appeared, at first glance, to be unoccupied. Now he scrambled from his seat and scurried from the room, leaving nothing behind but a